Hey guys, and welcome to the next tutorial. In this one we're going to go over the primitive types that are in Python. So Python only has 4 primitive types, and this is kind of like the smallest amount of data that can be represented in Python. So you saw we had integers, which is like the number 4, 3, 2, 1, 1000. It's just a whole number. So that's one thing. That's an integer. It's pretty simple. The other one we went over too was a floating point. So floating point is, you can just think it's just a decimal number. So 3.0, 5.23, things like that. So that's floating point. We already went over both of those in the other tutorials, and they're really easy to understand. The other one we already went over was a string, which is a word like Bill, cat. It's just any type of word. It can also be a single character like C or D. But one of the ones we haven't went over is, let me adjust my screen real quick, a Boolean value. So a Boolean value is really easy. It's just true or false, on or off, 0 or 1. So we can do like is correct. So this is asking, is something correct? And it is either true, or we can make one like is alive, and we can make it false. And those are the only 2 values a Boolean can be, and you have to capitalize it. So, and you can see idle actually helps us out. If we type a Boolean value, it actually colors it orange. Just that's how it kind of color codes Boolean values. But if you do like is correct, and we make it true again, but we do it with a lowercase. See, it doesn't color it orange, and it's going to give us an error saying name true is not defined. That's actually a really good thing to go over real quick. Python, and I think probably 99% of programming languages out there, I'm sure there's one that's not, but they're all case sensitive. So the word true does not equal the word true with a capital T. They are completely different things. So capitalizing matters. So if we make a variable called I don't know, we'll do dog again, and we make it equal 4, we can have another variable called dog with a capital D and make it equal 7, and those are technically 2 separate variables. So see, we typed in dog with a lowercase d and got 4, and dog with a capital D and got 7, and we can do dog plus dog with a lowercase and capital, and it should give us 11. So just remember that it's case sensitive. So if you have a capital letter in one variable and a lowercase in the other, they're 2 completely different things. But back to Booleans. So true and false have to be capitalized. It's just how Python wants you to type them in. If you do lowercase t or lowercase f, it's just going to give you an error. Well, you can actually make a variable called true, because technically it's not a keyword in Python. So if we do lowercase true and then assign it like the word Bill, technically that's a variable. So there's a variable called true, and it equals the word Bill, or it's assigned the word Bill. But don't ever do that, because that would confuse other people that go back and read your code. They'd be like, why do you make a variable called true? That's just confusing. Yeah, that's pretty much it in this video. Those are the 4 primitive types inside of Python that you need to know. It's pretty easy to memorize. So you got integer, so 4, floating point, 5.0, a string, which is a name like Jody, and then true or false. So there you go. Those are the 4 most basic pieces of data you can type into Python. And I also wanted to mention something in this video, because if you're like me, when I first learned programming, I would watch videos like this, and I would be not necessarily bored, but I would want to make something like a video game. And like, how does using this equate to making a game? This just seems like basic math and just really boring material. But I promise you, if you stick with it, you'll start to understand all this stuff put together. Once we get done with everything, you can make whatever you want. Like if you have a computer and you want it to do something using these fundamentals that I'm going to teach you, you can make anything. You have to know the fundamentals and the basic things like this to get started. So later on down the road, we will build some really cool tools, and I'll make like some games or We'll use some cool Python modules that I know about to build some really awesome projects. But for right now, just know you have to know the basics to get started, and these are the basics. So I'll see you guys in the next video.